Alright, so it's early morning, there's traffic, so we're just gonna have probably a nice, long, slow discussion today. So, last night, for the first time in weeks, I got ahead in my math homework. We did an exam, I was good, I was all caught up, I didn't have to worry about it, so I did a double tournament for myself. I went out another day other than just Saturday, and I went and I played Super last night. And I took a variation of the Surge Cell list, but instead of going into the 6-drop Cell, I went to the 6-drop Super 17, and I was playing a very high 17 count to use Infernal Messenger to fetch pieces. And the goal is essentially, you play real nice and slow, maybe you leave your energy open and you hit him with a counterplay on a turn, you rip the card out with the Cell, and then you awaken up then you successor up into your 6-drop, which is the 17 in this deck. And you just use him and Infernal Messenger to make up for the fact that you don't draw cards with that leader. Because, let the 6-drop Cell, when he comes out, I'm going to get a piece of gum, try and get around this cotton mouth that I have. So, the 6-drop Cell comes down, he KOs a battle card ignoring barrier, and drops a card from your opponent's hand. And he's 25, but that's it. Unless they kill him. And then he draws 3 cards. So people typically don't kill him, and he just sort of sits there and swings on them. The 6-drop 17, that's much better, by the way. I'm not f***ing. The 6-drop 17 comes down, and every time he swings, he draws a card and rests one of your opponent's cards. Any card. Field, leader, battle, energy, rest mode. He also draws and rests a card when he leaves the field via a skill, and he has barrier. So the whole goal is to get out your 17 and protect it with super combos to drop cards from their hand, earth-destroying Kamehamehas to drop cards from their hand, or let them kill them via effect and you still draw. Because what you're trying to do is, the big goal is for them to take your Cell to 4 life, or you to get there yourself by shocking deathballing their attacks on your rested 17. And then you're going to swing 17, rest, draw, successor into another 6-drop 17, rest, draw, swing, rest, draw, awaken, untap 2, and by this point you should have 10 cards in the drop, and you bring out Super 17 Power Distill. Because once you have 10, his energy cost decreases from 6 to 4. And then you just swing twice on them, rip 2 cards out of their hand, and add back 2 shocking death balls, and it begins. You activate the Cell, they can't play people in non-rest, and you just go and you just start shooting their cards out of their hand. And as much as I don't like hand control, I love 17. Everybody knows this. I love 17. Probably my favorite character in all of fiction. So the deck's fun. I lost against Boo because he went first, and then I beat Red Blue Android 17 because I went first. So it's not top tier by any means, but it's not super degenerate hand control. There is a lot more interaction. It's got good play, and it doesn't play at the snail's pace that normal Cell does. And also because you're not going up into the big dude, it's you don't just sit there and go, I haven't seen Celzino yet, hang on. So it's fun, but I have been made aware in the past 2 days. So I knew the Shit All Structure deck was coming out. I didn't realize it was out. I need to keep better on top of dates for this stuff. So The word of Shaddoll Invoked has spread far and wide. And it looks really fun and really interesting, but it's also really valuable. And I'm sitting here on a mekk-knight core and an invoked core, so people are very interested in that. So obviously we're going to be performing some tests. We might be moving it, we might be selling it. It really comes down to whether or not I think that this will be more viable than ABC's going into the Nationals format. Because ABC is what I've had my eye on for a while. You know, I'm sitting here with this half-built ABC deck just waiting for that Union driver and those 3 copies of the, hey, I'm just another Union Hanger spell card. Because once you get a hold of that, Union Hanger is a 1-card full board. And it's ridiculous. Because you use the Union Link to equip Photon Orbital to somebody. And you go, alright, Orbital into Soldier, Soldier Piss Piece, add Soldier, Soldier Pitch Piece, make Infinity. It's pretty nuts. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Opened up a lot more with that. Spiral is still a problem. Spiral is still very oppressive. But, and even though I would call them tier 0, I would call them absolutely, unequivocally the best deck this format, they're not that bad. You know? It's like, they're really good. They're very powerful, and they always seem to have answers, which is how you know a deck is good, is when it always seems to be able to stop you and do what it wants. Because that reflects either the overall flexibility of the deck's engine. You know, it's like, well, either all of the in-archetypal cards have these multi-use purposes that can hit a lot of things, which is what made Pendulums good for a very long time. It's because you could play Scales that did other things. Like, I main decked Archfiend Eccentric for a year and a half. Because it was a viable high scale that was also just MST. You could pop multi-roll, you could pop the anchor that they set, you know, you could activate it against a Salamangreat's trap card and watch them have to yeet their Baylings right out the gate. It applied pressure while also being a viable scale and a summonable monster to make Electromite. So that's why we played it. Same reason why people play Garuda. It does the same thing. So either the engine itself is multi-use, or the engine itself is so compact that they have room for all of their answers. And that's the case with Spiral, because you've got 1 drone, 1 master plan, 1 drone, 1 master plan, 1 quick fix, 3 agent, possibly some ratio of tough depending on the player. Your field spell, big red, 3 revival trap cards. That's about it. Oh, and master and Sleeper, big boy, and his security blanket. That's the Spiral engine. So they've got room for hand traps. They get, like, I mean, there's obviously other supporting cards that you go in there. Like, if you're not playing 1-for-1 and Foolish Burial and Terraforming and stuff, well, I suppose you don't play Terraforming in there, but, you know, overall, the whole Spiral chain and everything in and of itself is maybe like 20 cards. So you got 20 cards to play with. You can fit all sorts of crazy stuff in there, and that's why it's good. Is because they have a lot of room to play consistency cards and cards to stop themselves from getting stopped. And that's what makes Spiral powerful. The more flexible you can be in your deck building, the more powerful your deck is. So, Shaddolls can be really flexible because, I don't know if you've ever read Shaddoll Fusion, but it says, from the deck. Do you know, so Foolish Burial is at 1, right? there a reason for that? Yeah, there's a reason for that. So your opponent summons an extra deck monster, and you go, you fool. I'm behind 7 proxies. And you just drop a Shaddoll Fusion. And you send Trick Clown and whatever else, and you summon a construct. And then Trick Clown comes out, and then you link up, and then you just go. So the more room you have, the easier it is to be powerful. The less restrictive you are in deck building, the more answers you can play. This is what makes top tier decks powerful. And this is why Spiral is top tier. But the thing is, if you can break the Spiral board, if you can crack that walnut open, that's it. You know, if you go Dark Ruler evenly against the Spiral board, it doesn't matter that you can't deal any damage to them that turn. They only play 1 copy of all of them. So they sit there and go, well, all the Link monsters are obviously gone. I guess I just keep Sleeper. An unprotected Sleeper. And so they might be able to, you know, climb back up and recycle him and get him back on the field. I see it. You know, they're not coming down with a whole nother triple linked up Tri-Gate. It's once you get through them, they're over. Their whole strength lies in their ability to reliably establish this difficult to answer board, and that's pretty much it. It's that they can go first or second and manage to establish their win condition through whatever you have at them. So it's probably far more viable, if Spiral is your main concern, to simply attempt to always break their board than answer their board. But anyway, we're getting long and rambling. The point is, you know, God good, Satan bad, details inside. I don't know. I can put up that Cell 17 deck profile if people are actually interested in that. I will be looking at invoked Shaddoll stuff. Hopefully we will be getting the 4th place profile, which was Michael, recorded from last week's VIP event. We'll have the 1st and 8th place profiles going up this Sunday. I mean, that's about all we've got in terms of card game news and really the discussion. If there's anything else that you guys wanted to see or hear about, let me know. All right, unlock the shock.